All right, at this moment, I'd like to call the meeting to order and ask everybody to stand for the flag salute. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. All right, Diana, if you would take the roll for us.
Committee Member Schell. Committee Member Middlestad. Here. Committee Member Huber. Committee Member McMorris.
Here.
Chair Gordon.
Here. At this time, I'd like, maybe we can make a motion to excuse both Dan and Kathleen. Not Dan.
Tim.
Tim, it's the night of mixed up names.
Sorry, go ahead.
Second.
Oh, she didn't say it yet. Oh, I didn't move it. Yeah.
I make a motion?
Yeah.
I make a motion to excuse the two committee members.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? All right. So we excuse both Tim and Kathleen from this evening's meetings. Ms. Lang, are there any late changes to the agenda?
There are not.
All right, thank you. All right, at this time, we will approve the minutes from last time with any, unless there's any changes suggested or comments on the minutes from last time. Have the members had a chance to review them and? No comments? Okay. And I'm going to exempt myself from voting since I was not at the meeting, even though, I don't know, I attended it virtually, but I don't think that's the same.
I think it probably counts. It's okay.
Okay, all right. I move that we approve the minutes from the November meeting.
I second that motion.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? No? All right. And the minutes from November are approved. All right, anyone requesting to speak to the committee regarding all items not subject to a specific public hearing may come forward at this time. Please state your name and limit comments to 3 minutes. This would include anybody who's online that would like to speak. Written comments may be submitted to the clerk prior to the meeting. Do we have anyone who wants to speak this evening? Not seeing anyone in the audience online? Nope. All right. Let us move forward to the first item of business then, and I will turn it over to Miranda, who's going to give us progress update for the design of South Wells, South Royal.
Yes. So we have some good news on moving through the process. So we had so let me back up. So Jane had originally with Naturescape Designs, is that right?
Yes,
No,
our
like-
nature play designs.
Yes, thank you, that's what it is, Nature Play Designs. And so we met, and she took the concepts that were drawn and provided at our last meeting, and she put those into this new proposal, as well as incorporating the concept B that the committee had indicated was the preferred alternative. And so Diana, would you scroll down for me? That first page just talks about the landscaping itself and all of the native plants that exist here that are drought tolerant, ease of maintenance, they're pollinator friendly, provide 3-season beauty. And then if you will keep scrolling for me. And again, some placement, and this is all drawn to scale. The roundabout itself is about 50 feet wide, so that was great. I didn't have to go out and measure it myself, which was fantastic. And then, oh, sorry, go back up a little bit. You can see in this drawing on page 4, those 2 dark lines. There's the curved one, and then there's the flat one. These are 2 different examples of where the artwork itself would go. Go ahead, Diana. And so in a conversation, so I took the artwork to Steve Stewart, who took it to council, and the preferred art piece was actually the horse and the plow. And so there's two options here, right? We have the view one, which is the flat perspective where it was not curved, and view two is actually the curved perspective. So the city is planning on working with a local manufacturer to construct the artwork itself. And so I did reach out to them to find out if they could do a curved rendition of it. And they said yes, they could. It may require them to weld some pieces together, but they could definitely make it curved. So there's a couple of things that I need the committee, if you guys are liking this layout and what we have here, there's a couple things I need you to decide on. One, which do you prefer, the curved or the straight? Whether or not we can do some sort of lighting, knowing that we can't do any uplighting, but we could do some downlighting on this artwork. If you would like any boulders around the artwork piece itself at the ends, or any logs or no logs in the landscaping. So some very focused discussions. So do you want to start and just discuss the artwork flat or curved? We can start there.
A question of clarification. One of the things I thought I heard about in last meeting is one option might have been to have both the barn and this. Was that considered by the council, or did they think that there just should be one piece?
One piece.
Okay.
Yeah.
I really like the flat. I don't know why, but I like the idea that there's going to be some foliage kind of coming up in front of it. I know that from a maintenance perspective, it's going to make it more likely that the wording will get, obscured from time to time. But it seems like it would look more natural. I mean, I could certainly live with either version, honestly, but if you just ask me, that's kind of when I look at it, I think, I kind of like the straight version.
The description says, for the flat version, that this option allows low-flowering plants and grass in front of the sign to soften the edge and giving a sense that the farmer and the horse are in a field working. Yeah. That's kind of a neat idea. Yeah. I do like both options. But yeah, it's kind of neat having them in a field.
Is the intent the light color? Is that?
You mean the light color of the artwork itself?
Right.
Okay, would you mind turning on your mic also? Just so if anyone.
Oh, sorry, I was just curious. I thought that the other artwork like this we did was a dark color. I didn't know, was this proposed to be a light color?
So what Jane did is she just took the image that Kelly had drawn and scaled it a bit for this purpose. So when it's all said and done, it will likely be more of a rust color to mimic some of the other areas in the city. So it'll be a bit darker. If there's a preference there, we can let council know as well.
So is it a steel that's going to rust? Is that basically the idea? Yeah.
Yeah.
Nice. Is it meant then to match the same kind of steel that's going in the 50th?
It is.
Okay,
yes.
perfect.
All right.
Yeah,
Yeah. That's the thought process.
okay. I wonder if this is maybe a little off topic, but since that's being used there and being considered here, is that something that could be considered for the other one that's kind of uninstalled, the canoe version?
Oh, maybe.
Because, if this is the economical way to go or something, or doable, and it gets, I don't know, maybe that's not what the committee would want, but I am curious because it seems like would be nice to have some finished roundabouts, I guess.
Yeah, right? I will double check on that.
So was that the main question you asked us, Miranda? Was there one other question about this design that we were supposed to express opinions about?
Yes. Lighting and boulders, yes or no? Logs, yes or no?
I'm having trouble figuring out where we would put lighting on this if we can't have uplighting.
Yeah.
The only thing I could think of would be to put it at the top of the letters like above the letters pointing down onto the letters. But it doesn't seem necessary.
And there is other lighting at the roundabout itself, at the intersection.
Yeah. I would probably just skip lighting, any sort of decorative lighting.
I think I would skip lighting also.
What do you think, Dan?
I agree with downlighting would be or on the lettering would make sense if you were to do it. I don't have a strong opinion.
Dan, did you have a strong opinion about whether curved or straight? You just realized.
Well, I like, I tend to like the symmetry of the things, and so I mean, a roundabout's all about curves, and it's about moving around. And so, losing the realism and having the thing travel with you as you go around, I don't know. But you know, planting in front of it, and if you wanted to do the lighting, I mean, I think the lighting would work better if it was flat, but I don't know.
I think there's something to be said for the curved one too. For one thing, it takes up less space, and there's more space for bigger shrubs and trees.
It's true.
I'm gonna interject real fast. I don't know that there's a reason why we couldn't do the curved with the landscaping and set it back in there. I think that is probably doable.
Oh, you mean if we like the flat plants in front of
Yeah,
it?
if you wanted to do a hybrid option of the two, that, I would guess that is doable. It would just be a matter of where we designated the footings to be placed. But, I mean, if there's components you like of each one, you can definitely, we can ask Jane to represent that.
It's also kind of interesting that the farmer's going the opposite direction of traffic, and I don't know if that matters, but you might want to make the farmer obeying the directional.
That's a good point.
Interesting point, yeah.
Yeah, that's a good point.
That would mess up how the lettering was positioned relative to anyway, I don't know.
Not necessarily, because it would just be flipped a little bit, right? Like the horse would probably be set back from the end of Heritage.
Yeah. Yeah, it's totally doable. And I agree. It would be good to have it going with the flow.
Yeah, that is a good point.
Nobody thought about that.
Yay for the engineer in the room.
Okay, rocks and logs.
Yeah, rocks and logs. It's such a small roundabout.
Yeah, I don't think we have much room left.
I don't think so. I don't think it's necessary. I mean, it would be nice in a way, but
I actually like the thing in the foreground because it is small, and so there's not much room to plant. So, I don't know, that would be an advantage of
Having it set
in the
forward.
foreground, although I was kind of looking at it trying to see because it isn't entirely clear from the picture if it was supposed to be offset a bit or sort of right on the
wall. I bet for installation purposes, putting it on the wall could make it easier for them in a way. Because it could go into the concrete with steel posts or something.
Yeah, I mean, that could definitely be done. The one concern I would have about placing it directly on top of the knee wall is the knee wall is there to prevent traffic from going into the roundabout. And it could actually, if like what happened at 65th, if a car hit this, they could damage the artwork if it was
Yeah.
on top of the knee wall versus,
Yeah.
I mean,
Okay.
it would probably be a very significant vehicle that would need to damage steel like that, but
Yeah.
it could happen.
Yeah. Yeah, well, that's a good point. That would be another argument for also not necessarily having it quite so close.
You could sort of split the difference and just have like a single row of those small plants, those like 18-inch plants in between the knee wall and the base of the artwork. So there's a little bit of space between it and the knee wall, but it's not taking up too much space that could otherwise be used by trees and shrubs.
Yeah, it has to be mounted enough or something so that the lettering doesn't fall below the knee wall. I don't know what it's like there.
So what we're recommending on other roundabouts is to have the center of the roundabout, the topsoil and planting material to be about 18 inches above the top of the knee wall, and then taper down to being about 2 to 3 inches below the top of the knee wall.
Okay.
So it's mounded.
Yeah, it makes sense to me that it's not maybe so far into the roundabout itself, but kind of closer to the edge.
Maybe close, so maybe the rounded, the curved one, close to the knee wall, but not like right on the knee
Yep.
wall.
With some space, as you suggested, Kelly.
Okay.
That's what I'm thinking.
And no boulders or logs for this one.
I mean, unless we think on the other side, it would make sense, because we're not looking at what it looks like on the other side, but again, it's so small that the point of those is actually, I mean, there's two things. It's part of our naturescaping, trying to plant in a way that's wildlife friendly, because the logs degrade and insects can use them to build habitat, and birds can then eat the insects, blah, blah, blah. And the boulders the same. I mean, some of them can prevent, be places where there's a little bit of hiding space or perching space next to a plant. So if that is a part of the value of those native plants is creating those spaces, it wouldn't hurt. But I think the fact that we get native plants in there at all, and as many as we can, is good, because it is. When you said, by the way, Miranda, that it was 50 feet across, does that include the skirt that goes to the edge, or does that really just the plantable area that's 50 feet across?
My understanding is that is the plantable area.
50 feet across, okay.
That seems pretty large. Seems like a pretty small roundabout.
Yeah, I know, that seems bigger than I
Yeah.
would have thought, because I drove by there, well, I drive by there all the time because my house is down that road, but it is small.
Yeah, let me double check.
That's great
what
if it's 50
she
feet,
had
though.
said.
Because I'm thinking it's like from this to the door. Is that how wide across it is?
That's-
Is that 50 feet?
Like it could fit in this room, the
Yeah.
plantable area. That's what it feels like to me too, but our sense of scale might be off because it's like in the middle of a big empty space.
Yeah, it's true.
So Jane indicated that it was 50 feet. She did not say if it was just the interior piece, and I have not gone out to measure to confirm.
I sort of feel like it might be less than that, but. Because I'm thinking this room is maybe 30 feet across from here to there, and
Well-
this is the right.
Here she says that the art is a flat art piece that is about 29 feet long.
Oh, and see how that takes up most of it?
Yeah, so I think it is 50 feet wide.
Oh, so you think there's another 30, if that's 30 feet, so that's another 10 and 10 on each
Yeah.
side? Okay.
Anyway,
Well, anyway, yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, one argument, I guess I'm gonna backtrack here, about putting in a log or a boulder on the other side might be just to maintain if I was, we've developed now some design standards, and one of them is to do this kind of forest floor and natural, and the more that we reinforce that with some of the other, cues that are in the roundabout, the more that is a continuous thing throughout the roundabout. So that would be the argument in favor of it, is like, okay, this is consistent with other roundabouts. We do have a log, we do have a couple boulders. But I don't, yeah.
the landscaper might be able to use it as a way to keep the signs free, because I noticed in her planting scheme, she's planting lower plants around the signs that have to be there, so they don't block the signage. So, you could also put a boulder or a log over there, since you have to plant low-lying plants anyway. So, I don't know. I suppose we could make it work if you if you really want to.
Well, yeah, I mean, I won't, I don't like have to have it, but if you guys felt like that was a good reason to, I would definitely say, let's just ask for it, and if it gets opted out, it gets opted out. Dan, your thoughts?
Yeah, other stuff like a log, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe could we tell the committee that it's like preferred but not a high priority? Because I remember at the Costco roundabout, we wanted boulders and logs, and it ended up being incredibly expensive. We had no idea. So I don't want to make that happen again with this roundabout.
The log itself should not be expensive. There's logs around here, except that they just have to move it there.
Yeah, I think
It's
it was
the
the
boulders.
transportation.
It's the transportation, yeah. Okay, well, you're right about that. Preferred. I think preferred is, preferred that there would be a log, maybe a couple of small logs, one or two small boulders. Doesn't have to be a lot, but it just kind of lends itself to that kind of more naturalistic landscaping approach.
Okay, so what I've heard is no on the lights, mirror image the horse and farmer with the plow, so they're going with the roundabout. Preference is the curved version, slightly offset from the knee wall.
Yep.
Did you want to include a row of plantings in front of that? Okay.
Yes.
And then boulders and logs, relative to the size, are preferred.
Yes, yeah, they do not have to be huge, but yes, to try and reinforce that forest floor and
For visual consistency.
the visual consistency between the one, of the 3 or 4 that we've worked on, they've all had that as part of the design.
Okay.
I did have one other thing about, I don't remember from her earlier, and I could be wrong, I didn't go back and look it up, but her recommendations for trees now are different than what I thought they had been. They are from the City of Vancouver approved street tree list, which is interesting because I think Ridgefield has its own city tree list, but they're not, even though there are, some of them, maybe even most of them, are some sort of native cross. They're not true native trees anymore. And I've spent a lot of time with this native plant stuff for the last 5 years, and they're still trying to figure out, there are cases where a hybrid will be just as satisfying to the pollinators or birds, but mostly that's not the case. They actually, you know, when they change the plants, when they modify the plants, they're modifying them for changing the color of the leaf, the size of the flower, the shape of the flower, and all these things are not things that all pollinators can adapt to quickly. I mean, monarchs, they've been trying to follow monarchs for 100 years, and they have not been able to, they can't adapt to new kinds of vegetation. They're very specific. And if our goal is to keep reinforcing the support of our native wildlife, then I would really advocate for some of the many smaller native plants and shrubs and trees that we have. And I did send an email to you and Diana, I also sent it to you, Kelly, actually, that has that list, because Chuck had asked me to generate a list a while back. And so I would like to ask that the trees in particular, the plant selection for the plants are all great. They're mostly natives, and as long as they actually go with the natives, but a lot of landscape companies will get you the prettier one, but that doesn't mean the bees will like it and use it. So, and the city of Ridgefield is looking at becoming a bee city, and it looks pretty likely to me that they're going to go for that. And as they do that, one of the things the city will be asked to do is to, keep looking at how they can provide habitat. And this is one easy way for us to offer that, is to make sure that we're picking absolutely native plants. So in terms of size and scale, I did have like 3 or 4 specific trees. Like there's a serviceberry. She's got 2 serviceberries listed at the bottom, You could just get the straight non-cultivar service berry, and I can give you the Latin name. I mean, it's on that list, actually. And then there were 3 others that are on the list that I sent. So I don't know how to handle that, but I would like to get that feedback and see if we can adjust. I do want the rest of the committee to weigh in on this, but I felt pretty strongly when I saw the list of trees that it's like, we can do better than this. And they're beautiful plants, really beautiful. There's an evergreen. I heard the debate you guys had last time about whether things should be evergreen or deciduous. And I think that like a mix is good. And you do want evergreen because in the winter when things lose their leaves, and the more leaves, the more cleanup. So there are some, actually, I've been doing this in my own yard now for 5 years, and I've worked really hard to find those evergreens that are beautiful, not huge, and that help pollinators. So I think we have some good options, and I'd just like to really see if we could push on changing the trees that are being suggested.
Sounds good. I can definitely send her your list and ask if she can incorporate those.
Yeah.
And assuming the rest of the committee is good with that too?
Of course, yeah.
Okay. Perfect. Yeah, I will send that list and
I'll send you like a more detailed, like which of the 4.
awesome. Thank you.
Yeah.
Yeah, I learned something from your email. I did not realize that the different hybrids were not as desirable.
They're not
I
as
had no idea.
Yeah. They're still studying it, and there just hasn't been a lot of research to completely confirm that in every case, and in some cases it doesn't seem to matter, but from what I can tell in many cases it does. So it is important, yeah.
We're all have our preferences, right? They're built into us, so.
Well, and you know, these insects and birds, they co-evolved with their plant species for 10,000 years, and we kind of forget that evolution works in those kinds of time spans. So, you know, we keep revising these plants in the space of a year, 10 years, and the species can't keep up with that.
It's not the same.
All right.
Okay.
Is there anything else on this topic, either Miranda, that you need us to weigh in on or to comment on, or anybody on the panel that wants to make further comment before this goes for one more iteration before it goes to council, I guess? Or will it come back to this committee one more time, or will it go forward to the council?
So my goal is to get it to council at the December 18th meeting,
Nice.
or we can push it back to January, but I can talk to so I'm working with Jane tomorrow, and I'll give her the updates on this. She didn't think that there was any issue to be able to get revised drawings for anything that was necessary before council meeting.
Okay.
So if you could get me that updated plant list as soon as you're able. we
Actually,
can-
and I brought a list, so I'll just circle the 4 that I'm,
Perfect.
yeah.
Perfect. And then I'll get that to Jane tomorrow, and we'll move forward as long as everybody's good. So my thought is, I'll get the revisions to Jane. Jane will get them back to us. I'll email them out to Diana. She'll send them to everybody. And then let me know if there's any other concerns, with the goal of getting it on the agenda for council on the 18th.
I think if she's gonna update the plants in the picture, it would be handy to change the color and make make it dark instead of light.
Okay.
And then there's a question about the lettering. We've been doing cutout of birds maybe, or things like that, and it was a negative space idea. I don't know. I think if the lettering was a negative space, you probably wouldn't see it, so I don't know what the thought is there. And I don't know if that's maybe light, if it was negative space, maybe light would highlight the lettering, or maybe some other strategy for the lettering to make it visible. But I'm kind of interested, and then if she could flip the direction too. But if you use the negative space for the lettering, I don't know.
I don't think that would be visible.
Yeah,
Yeah, maybe a white paint. If it's going to be a dark red color, maybe painting the letters on in white would be the most visible.
And that's something I can reach out to the manufacturer and ask them
Yeah.
how they would make the lettering more legible, so you could see it from a little bit of a distance, because I don't know the answer to that either.
Yeah, it might be a good question for them.
Yeah.
Do you need me to send an updated drawing of the art piece. I could flip it around and make it the red color so that, and then just like isolate it apart from the drawing of the rest of the roundabout so that the landscaper can put it into her mock-up.
That would be fantastic.
Okay,
Thank you.
I'll try to get that to you this week.
Okay. Dan, did you know how to make the lettering more visible already? Or,
Oh, the coloring sounds like a great idea. I just didn't know what the thought was, because it's dark, and if the overall thing's gonna be dark, then,
yeah. So I think the original intent was to have those letters actually cut out of the steel.
right.
I don't know if then we could put another piece on the background and then paint that white in there. I mean,
Yeah,
That's an idea.
I'm guessing they could come up with something.
Yeah.
So the idea is that right now, the way it is with just it being an empty, it may not be as visible as it would be if there was white. I get it.
right.
Okay.
So it's choosing our negative space, making it white.
All right, should we move on?
Yeah. Thank you, Kelly. So item number 2?
All right, so just giving you a quick update on that. I have collected some history. I've not had an opportunity yet to actually go through and start sorting it out. My goal is to have that done by our next meeting, and I'll probably send you something in advance of that so you guys can say, yes, that captures it, or I don't know where you got that from. So if that works, okay. My apologies for not having that one finished, or at least a better update on that yet. Any questions for that one?
I'm really glad that's happening, but it does seem less urgent than actually moving forward on actual roundabouts, so.
Cool,
Yeah.
thank you. I appreciate that.
Yeah. Okay, so if nothing more on that, let's move to item number 3 on the business, which is the review of the design approach.
Yes. So I put this into a bit more of a formatted document. I added a purpose and a conclusion to it.
Liked that.
And so if you want to look at it, review, comment, let me know your thoughts. If there's anything we need to add or remove.
I did have a chance to look at it ahead of time, so I had a few things. I don't know, though, do you want to take a few minutes, you two, to read it first and then?
Yeah, I haven't read it yet.
Okay, I'll just be quiet then. I'll look at it again.
very nice.
Thank you.
I like that alliteration at the end. Safety, sustainability, and storytelling.
Thank you. I see a couple of things I need to change.
So just, this is my English teacher background,
Please
part
do.
of that.
Yes, please do.
Well, I'll leave out some of my English teacher stuff. That's not so important. But I did think, like last time, there was a nice conversation about evergreen versus deciduous. And I thought under the design principles, the landscape design principles, where it says wide diversity of native plantings, I would kind of add : evergreen and deciduous, just to make it clear that we want both.
Okay. Can you remind me where you
So
were?
it's bullet point number 2 under design principles.
There we go. Okay, perfect.
So that would be add evergreen and deciduous after a colon or something maybe, or after a dash, either way,
Okay.
but just reinforce that.
And when I said please do, I meant bring it.
Bring it?
Yes.
Okay.
Bring your English teacher. I'm totally fine
Well,
with that.
okay, if you're gonna go push me on that.
Yes.
So up at the top, I would say design for Ridgefield's roundabouts, and the roundabouts would be capitalized. Just
Okay.
because we're talking about a kind of a thing that's happening and it's big, and I don't know, I just like the idea of kind of highlighting that word because it's, and I don't know, I mean, in some ways that if I were doing it in my own document, I would probably capitalize it throughout the whole document after that.
Okay.
Because it's such a, whatever.
It's prominent. It's what it is.
It's prominent, yeah. Under the art part, and there were just a few other places where roundabout is found, but anyway. Under specifications, the last thing, I thought maybe to amplify that a little bit, that avoid interactive features so that people would understand fully why that is. I would leave it as is, but then add that might invite the public to enter the roundabout. Because that's what we were trying to avoid, is people wanting to enter the roundabout. So I don't know, that just seemed important to me because other people might say, well, why don't we want interactive? Oh, because we need to keep people out, and you could reword that, but I just think that's the purpose of that. And right below lighting and irrigation, there's a roundabout word that could be capitalized. Under general design themes on page 2, there's just a typo after themes. There's an extra T in there.
Got that one.
Okay. And then I thought with the general design principles, third bullet point, I felt like that the other part of the identity, to tell the story of Ridgefield, for me, one of the stories of Ridgefield is its identity as a wildlife refuge and an environmentally sensitive area. And I'm interested in the historical part, and I thought it was fascinating to have the gentleman come last time and talk about that, and that should certainly be part of the roundabouts, but I wouldn't want it to overshadow kind of the emphasis on the birds and our wildlife. So I wondered if we could add to that. So that instead of just saying, is encouraged to use roundabout design to tell the story of Ridgefield, its heritage past and present from agricultural roots to small city with commercial affluent, and also as a wildlife and ecological center or something.
Okay, so in the bullet just above that, I include the wildlife refuge there for the thematic elements. Should I go ahead and pull it out of there and put it in the bottom, or keep it in both spots? Or add it and keep it, I should say.
Yeah, you're right, it is there, isn't it?
And either way, this is your committee's document, so.
Yeah, because those are overlapping ideas, I guess, as far as like the purpose of the theme, or the purpose of the roundabouts overall, is to the amount of tied to Ridgefield's identity. I mean, maybe then it should maybe then so you can't necessarily on each roundabout maybe do both of those completely, but overall throughout the city, it would be nice that both of those happen. So I'm wondering if it in that third bullet point, it should be,
Maybe an equal emphasis?
equal emphasis, or roundabout design can also be used to tell the story, so be,
I could change that instead of, and maybe that would be better, is instead of saying it is encouraged to use roundabout design,
yeah.
say another perspective is to use the roundabout design to tell the story of Ridgefield's heritage?
Yes.
Okay.
Just so you kind of see that, like, there's balance between, or if some of the roundabouts are highlighting our wildlife, environmental legacies, our pre-colonial heritage, that's important too.
So then I added another bullet and I said it is encouraged to balance the use of the thematic elements as well as the historic elements.
How about with or as well as? Balance
I could say with the historic elements.
with the historic elements, yeah. Does that seem okay to you guys?
Do you want me to read it again, what I
Yeah.
changed? Okay. So bullet 3, change that to another perspective is to use roundabout design to tell the story of Ridgefield's heritage, past and present from oh, I'm sorry, this would have been the original bullet number, 3. So another perspective is to use the roundabout design to tell the story of Ridgefield's heritage, past and present from agricultural roots to a small city with commercial activity. Added a 4th bullet, it is encouraged to balance the use of the thematic elements with the historic elements.
Wait, could you read the last
What
one?
are the
Sorry. Oh,
thematic ones? Oh, the one, that's the second bullet.
Correct, yeah.
Oh, it's the thematic with the story.
But historic events is included under thematic elements.
That's true, it is. That's a good point.
it is.
Heather, I think what you're saying is that you want at least an equal emphasis on nature and history, if not more of an emphasis on nature. Is that right?
I didn't want us to preclude, I would hate for the shift, it's not gonna happen because we've already designed some, but if it started to be that every roundabout had to celebrate the history of the agricultural roots to now, rather than the emphasis on kind of our wildlife and our birds, and I would find that a shame. I think there should be, kind of equal emphasis. But, or, equal doesn't have to be exactly equal, I just don't want to lose that.
How can we word that?
I mean,
What if I change it to, it is encouraged to balance the use of the native wildlife and historic perspectives throughout the city's designs?
Well, I think that's a little confusing because we want to have native wildlife in every roundabout. But I think we're talking more about like the art.
yeah.
So we want some art to be nature themed and some to be history themed, and not all of it. We don't want it to sound like everything has to be about history.
Do we want to actually put that under the art design goals rather than under the general design themes then? If
It
it's
almost-
more focused on art? Either way, right? I am good either way you guys want to do it.
Or so the general design themes does say consistent use of native plants.
That's right.
And so we've got the plantings
Covered.
and so I guess the next thing would be that we'd be talking about the art, I suppose.
Okay, I'm tracking.
So
yeah, we can
actually, in
make
some ways, what we could do is just eliminate the third bullet point. Because if we say thematic element tied to Ridgefield's identity, and that includes native wildlife refuge, historic events, and activities, that covers the heritage part.
That's true.
That is true.
So we could just simplify it, and then it's open for interpretation, and people do, but, so maybe we're trying too much to add too much detail. It's just, I felt like that was drawing a lot of attention to the heritage part, and I wanted to make sure we didn't lose, and I kind of didn't pay much to that. So we could just leave it those two things. Because we're talking about general design themes.
Which, and I'm good with that too, is
Yeah,
whatever
Do you
you
think
guys
so?
prefer.
yeah, I think so.
Okay.
Okay, so delete bullet 3,
Mm-hmm.
keep bullet 1 and 2 as written.
Yep.
The native plants is a consistent theme.
Yeah.
The other ones are, yeah. possible
They're
th-
variable,
possible
they're variation,
thematic elements,
yeah. Okay, and my last comment had to do with the forest floor concept. So basically, just for clarity's sake, where it says under bullet point 1, under adopt a forest floor concept, allow leaves and plant matter to decompose naturally, I would say that that is actually part of, I would add the wording in order to, and then delete the bullet in front of maintain, and just make that all one long bullet point. Because that's the point of leaving the leaves in the point letter. It maintains soil quality, it reduces evaporation, and it provides insect habitat. So those are connected ideas that relate to each other, and I want to make sure that's something that we don't all know, and it's something we're trying to like spend some time getting to know. And so it's, I thought that was maybe worth doing, is revising that.
Okay.
And I would say that the maintenance standards, just from the conversations that we had towards the end of Chuck's time, and we invited Ryan Thamer in, and we talked about maintenance, and he described to us some of the challenges they face and everything. This minimal blowing and no bark dust, that is something that's going to be, that's what I think, and what I understand, and what we've discussed as being supportive of doing more natural, supportive to insects, supportive to birds maintenance, but it's not what maintenance is used to doing. So it may or may not be actually happening right now in our roundabouts. And one example of that is that in the Costco roundabout, it looks to me like they've pruned one of the strawberry trees. Well, it's a tree, it's not a big tree, but I think the landscapers are treating it like a shrub. And they're used to going in and pruning everything to be neat and tidy. And like, it's gonna be a process to have that evolve and change.
And I'm not sure that that is Ridgefield staff that's maintaining that yet.
You're right, it might be the Costco,
Yeah, their
landscape-
maintenance agreement
maintenance
for the
agreement.
plant establishment is my guess.
so,
But
but
I can
anyway,
check on that.
yeah.
And I'm sure our maintenance and operations teams don't mind not doing stuff. They've got a lot under their belts to take care of.
it seems like it, but you know, I think to Kathleen's point from last meeting, they get very worried about the public's inputs, and I think
Very much so.
it's just cultivating a slightly different sensibility. Nobody wants it to look messy and gross. We just want it to also be able to support some life. And all our other blowing and overblowing and over-tidying and over-cutting is actually reducing the chances that the insects and stuff that we need can survive.
Yeah, and as far as the Costco roundabout does go, we are still planning on taking out the plants, raising it up, and then replanting.
Would it be those same plants are gonna go back in where they are?
Not those exact plants, the cost to remove them and then store them to keep them alive and then put them back is too much. So it'll be new plants that are going in.
The same type or
The
different?
same type.
Okay.
Yes. Yeah, and there is one tree that had died.
Yep.
Or it was stolen. It was stolen. It's not physically there. And nobody seems to know. What was that Jim Carrey movie where they went around and cut out pieces of lawn from?
Yeah. Wow.
You guys, do you know what I'm talking about?
Oh, actually, I don't, but
Okay.
that's fine.
Well, there was a movie about that where he went to other people's lawn to steal it, so he had lawn.
Oh,
That's what I felt somebody did at our roundabout. And it's not there, so we're assuming it was stolen because we don't know who would have taken out a dead tree unless the landscapers.
Chuck Green had me go inventory what was there at one point, and they were missing a tree
Okay.
at that point, I think, or it had died, I can't remember, or maybe one or two had died, and anyway, that was probably long before you did the more recent inventory, so I can't really say for sure, but it did seem like, based on the original plan and what I could count when I went and did that, it was not, everything
doesn't
was not
match.
there.
Yes,
It doesn't
yes.
match, yeah.
Yeah. So,
Someone stole the dead tree?
I'm not sure. I just know that there is a tree that was there that is no longer. So whether it was alive when it went away,
Oh,
or
it's
if the
too
landscapers took it
bad.
out, I'm not sure.
I hope they can replant some of those. Some of those
But-
are starting to grow.
Yes,
Yeah,
yes.
it's a shame.
So we have some options that we're looking at to recoup those plants so they don't just go to waste, because that would be horrible.
Yeah,
But it probably won't be until the spring
yeah,
before
okay,
we get stuff replanted, given where we are season-wise.
yeah, okay.
I wondered if you could add something that would reflect the discussions around how to offset it from the knee wall, and then that it should, you were saying 18 inches maybe.
Oh, the mounding?
And then in a general design principle I think we've been using is to try to, I mean, let things grow and fill in, but also to make them kind of get taller as it moves towards the inside of the roundabout for visibility of the plantings, but also for the aesthetic of the roundabout, that you're going around a thing. And like if you put all the mass on like one edge, it would kind of visually, anyway. I think that's a design principle that we've been generally using.
Do you mean keeping taller plants in the center and
Right,
shorter ones around the outside?
right.
Okay.
Yeah.
Is it okay if I put the height variation up in landscaping, and then put the concept of the movement with the roundabout under general design themes? Or would you like them both under general design themes?
The movement, what was that?
If I heard you right, you were talking about the movement of the roundabout and making sure that things kind of fit the perspective?
Oh, that was one of my rationales.
Oh,
I was
okay.
trying to justify the point of view, but the one was that the 18 inches into the center, but then that the plantings get taller towards the middle, so that, yeah.
Okay, for consistent viewing, essentially?
Yeah.
As you're
That's just a
traversing around?
general idea, because if you do it exactly, then it's not gonna look natural. On the other hand, if you plant all your tall things on the edge, one edge, that wouldn't work so good, so.
I mean, one way that I think that's getting accomplished, it's not in our layout, but by working with professional landscape professionals, we probably have had that concept getting applied, whether we were explicit about it. But if you think it should be explicit, I understand that. That seems, I can see that.
Yeah, I like those both as a general point, that the dirt should be a little bit higher in the middle, and that, yeah,
Dirt
Yeah.
should be higher should be mounted in the center, and the plants should be taller in the middle.
yeah.
Okay.
Or the whole planting surface should be elevated in order for better viewing of the plants,
Yeah.
or better viewing of the, yeah. To
I mean, you
not
should
repeat the
see-
Costco
You should see
mistake.
an understory, and then your middle story, and then your upper,
Yeah,
kind of from all vantages,
Yeah.
ideally. I mean,
okay.
Not an exact symmetry, because that would suggest you're making a hedge, but,
Yeah,
know,
exactly.
but in general sense, and we also talked about maybe a material theme possibly, so maybe in the future that will come up again, I don't know.
A material theme?
Well, like the canoe came up, maybe we should use the same material. So
Oh,
it could
right.
be that we have an art material
Yeah,
preference.
yeah.
But we'll see.
Yeah.
We don't have the first example up yet, so.
Yeah, exactly. We should see how it turns out. I think it's so cool that it's
I keep
collaboration. with-
looking, I'm waiting.
Yeah, me too.
They should be pouring concrete on Thursday
Oh,
for the
very
bases.
cool.
And then it has to cure for 7 days, and then the artwork will go in.
Neat.
Oh, good.
And that artwork was created by the high school students based on a,
Yes.
I think that's a super cool model to use local, kids learning to create, under the supervision of somebody who knows what they're doing, to create some of these pieces. I think that's such a cool model. I mean, because it also doesn't rely on the community to have a lot of wealth to make that happen.
Yep.
You
It
could-
was a fantastic opportunity.
Yeah.
That's for certain.
Yeah, definitely. All right, well, are we to a place where we are through our business items? Are there any further business-related issues that, or topics related that we haven't fully covered?
Could I say one more thing about the document?
Yeah.
I can't remember what page it's on, but there's a point about not having features that invite people into the roundabout. Can
Yeah.
we find it?
That was the one I commented.
Okay, there it is.
Should-
Avoid interactive features.
Yep.
The examples are stairs and booths. I know why you put booths is because I mentioned telephone booths last time, but I think just booths by itself is a little
Weird.
weird. So maybe we could change it to benches.
Yeah,
Oh, I like that better.
I did think that was also, it
Yeah.
occurred to me.
I
like-
couldn't figure out how to best articulate that.
Yeah.
Bench is a very simple fix. I love it. That makes so much more sense.
Sorry to give you so much feedback after last time we were like, yeah, I can't think of anything else.
Oh, please do not apologize. This is why we do this.
Okay.
Okay. I'll get this cleaned up and get it sent back out.
Yeah. Okay, moving on then, staff reports. Are there any staff reports?
So Ridgefield, there's all kinds of stuff constantly happening, although things are slowing down just a little bit, which is a nice reprieve. The Pioneer Widening Project is slowing down for the season as well. We will have some projects that are kicking off in the spring, including the new East Side Reservoir is going to be constructed. As well as with the holiday season, were you guys able to join for the Hometown Festival over the weekend?
Yeah.
Yeah.
It was
Yeah.
pretty cool, and downtown looks absolutely amazing. It's the first time I have been over here for that event, so it is pretty magical when you go down there. And beyond that, the offices will be closed December 25th and 26th for the holiday this year. And that's about it. That's what we've got going right now.
All right, I think that means we're to the getting to the end there. Anything from the committee?
Nothing for me.
Well, I have something. Dan, do you have anything?
Nope.
Okay. So this is my last Roundabout Committee meeting. And it's just been a real pleasure to be in this group, this initiating group that got this going, and that I feel like we've had such a good impact and so many positive, ideas that we've shared and that we've been able to present and move forward on, and in the coming months we'll get to see some of them more implemented. And anyway, I look forward to watching as this committee goes forward and continues its work, because it really seems like we are making something important. And I think I told you guys the story about the Ridgefield Roundabout t-shirts. I thought that was a gas, that somebody in Ridgefield is making t-shirts that say Ridgefield Roundabouts, or we love our roundabouts. And I thought, wow, we're doing something. Let's see, I think most of the things that I was gonna be, anything else? Said that. I guess that's everything. I mean, I think I just made some notes on things I wanted to be sure I commented on, because I wasn't here the last 2 times, and I think I got a chance to incorporate all those comments as we went along. And I just want to go back to, I do think it's a very cool model that we did a collaboration with high school students to create art for a public roundabout. And if the committee continues to face obstacles in the funding of artwork, it seems like something that could be something to look at is to have community. I also really appreciated that it sounds like the Art Association could get involved with our roundabouts and the art for it. I did talk to Lee Notnaris just briefly about this program that was once sort of happening or about to happen for raising money for public art. But she still didn't set up a time for me to really get more information on that. But I think with the connection to the Art Association, there's a lot of potential there. So anyway, been nice serving with everybody, and I'll continue to watch for notes and developments. Yeah.
Yes, thank you for your service. We appreciate you.
All right, at this point, I'd like to adjourn the meeting. Thank you.
Thank you.